Felt like a flex back then. Is it a flex? That's up to you. When we broke up, she ended up getting with my homie. I was in a deep depression. So there, like wanting to talk to people, but I was so in my head, I could not have conversation. How badly I wanted that pain to be taken away. Revert to the only thing that brought me joy in the past, and that was best party school is the most beautiful woman. $40,000 a year, did not care. All I wanted was my pain to go away. I was quickly hit with the realization that high school is not like college. The woman will always seek the best man in their environment, and I was not the best man. I was literally losing hair at the time. I was so stressed out. So when I knew something had to change is when I got home from college. For the first time in my life, I felt anxious around my family. I knew he figured something out. First time I spoke out loud what I was feeling. And then it was kind of like a movie scene. He blew my mind for sure. Condensed and gave it to me at that point. Not so you can follow that principle, but so you can understand how women actually work. That conversation was the point. I was going to the gym and I was eating healthy, right? Why am I still not getting the chicks? I hit the ground running. Human podcast on one screen, notes on the other screen. After about a month of this, my confidence rose from like a 2 to a 7. Vision of being a 10 out of 10 man gave me the confidence. And I don't know why it took me so long to realize, boom, confidence up to an 8. I want to go put myself out there. I want to start a business. Ended up being like 40K in profit with a woman who I had been looking at for years. And a year later, she's mine. I built all that within a year and a half. I'm dedicating my life, my passion, my journey. What's up, brothers? So I recently just started this YouTube channel. I've been posting on Instagram for a little bit of while. If you follow me on there, you know most of my story, but I never really breaking down my story of how I went from, being extremely insecure, validation from woman seeking, loser, honestly, socially anxious, depressed, really at the bottom of the barrel, to now having the woman of my dreams, the business of my dreams, the confidence of my dreams, discipline of my dreams, right? And I'm only going up from here. And so I think it's truly valuable to see where one came from, right? If you're going to be listening to me in the future, I would like you to know where I started so you guys can kind of relate to that, because I was down pretty bad, right? Not that long ago. So I'm going to take you guys through about 6 or 7 phases of my life, starting from high school, ending to where I'm at now. And let's get right into it, brothers. So in high school, I was comfortable. That is the word of the era, is comfortable. I had a girlfriend, I had my friends, I had my weed, had my alcohol. I probably smoked every single day throughout high school, from like sophomore year to senior year, every single day, multiple times a day. And then when COVID hit, probably drank 90% of the days, right? Me and my boys actually had a competition who could drink the most days in a row. I got 14. One of my guys got 70. Felt like a flex back then. Is it a flex? That's up to you. Anyways, right, life was good. Life was fine. I really didn't think about much. All I cared about was my hedonistic pleasure, and I could drink every day and wake up and feel fine the next day. Everything was smooth in the moment. My mom wasn't too happy, right? It wasn't until me and my girlfriend broke up when things really started to get serious for me. So like I said, we broke up, went through a good amount of turmoil, right? I wasn't the greatest person. She wasn't the greatest person at the time. And when we broke up, she ended up getting with my homie. Classic villain story. I blame him, not her, right? It was honestly a good move by her. It got me to chase her, and very desperately. But yeah, pretty much after that, my whole world crashed, right? My whole world crashed. I, lost the identity I had myself, cool kid with a girlfriend, everything was fine, and then suddenly a piece of me was taken away, that sense of security, sense of validation, and I did not know what to do with myself, right? The immediate days after, I did not sleep. My face was all puffy. I was in a deep depression for a couple days, and this depression lasted a good while, but like it was really bad for a couple days because I never experienced something like this. That was summer of 2022, right? So about 3 years ago that happened to me. And during that summer, all I did, I worked at Menards, I worked for my mom, and I went to the gym. That's it. And otherwise, I just sat in depressing thoughts besides that. And so when I was working at Menards, I was actually a cashier, and I was so down bad that I don't remember having like any conversations, right? I would go there like wanting to talk to people, but I was so in my head, I could not have conversations at the cash register. Going by hundreds of people a day, like literally just like put my head down and scan the thing, right? I was hitting my pen in the bathroom, and I remember all I would think about was my ex. That's it, right? That's it. And how badly I wanted that pain to be taken away. And then after my shifts, I would go to the gym, smoke a joint, take 200 milligrams of pre-workout at like 12 or 1 a.m., and then go rip a workout. And that was my pride and joy, right? That's what was keeping me sane. I had a pretty good physique, right? I was in good shape. But that being said, that also probably added to my hormone disruption, my depression at the end of the day. In the moment, it felt great. But yeah, that was my sense of peace. That was my lover right there, was the gym at 1 a.m. after a joint and pre-workout. And shortly after we broke up as well, I did not get into the only college I applied to, the college my brother and my sister went to, University of Illinois. And so that part of my identity was also lost. So number one, I lost my girlfriend. And number two, I didn't get into the only school I thought I would want to go to, right? And so pretty much I would just sat here in the summer with no direction, no one here for me, right? Where that's what it felt like, right? No one to support me. And I felt lost. I did have my mom, but at the same time, I felt like she didn't understand my problems really. She tried her best. So I was at a point where I didn't know what to do, and I decided to revert to the only thing that brought me joy in the past, and that was hedonism. That was women and alcohol, women and drinking, women and partying. And so what I did is I looked up on the internet, right after I didn't get in Illinois, I looked up best party schools, the most beautiful woman. Pretty consistently, I saw University of Iowa, and so there it was. $40,000 a year, did not care. All I wanted was my pain to go away, and I thought this would do it, right? And so after a summer of doing what I said, working, going to the gym, I pack my bags and get going, right? And now I'm thinking, okay, after this summer of horrible depression and anxiety, not feeling like myself, I'm gonna fix myself through the bars, right? Through the clubs, through the frats. So I get there and I do exactly what I was planning on doing. Drinking probably 2 to 3 times a week, join a frat. All I was focused on was chicks, and brothers, I was unsuccessful. I was quickly hit with the realization that high school is not like college in the sense of, you each have your person. If you don't find a person, there's someone out there for you, right? College is not that. There's something called hypergamy. Hypergamy means that the woman will always seek the best man in their environment, and I was not the best man, and so I got no woman, despite my efforts, right? Despite my efforts. I was, able to get a little bit of interest from low quality women, but at the end of the day, that did not fulfill me. I wanted validation from women I thought were quality, and I did not get that. And so what that led me to do is think, how do I get the validation, right? I need the validation. That's the only thing I thought could cure me. And so I just kept drinking and kept chasing, kept getting rejected, and to a point where I stopped even approaching, and I just go out and drink. And this was a low point for me. I was literally losing hair at the time. I was so stressed out. I would go like this in the shower and hair would fall out, and you could tell it was thinning. And so at this point, I have zero confidence, extreme social anxiety, right? Zero direction. And the only cure in my vision is doing the same thing over and over, which is drinking, going out. And I just kept doing it. And so when I knew something had to change is when I got home from college, Thanksgiving break 2022, right? I knew something had to change because my family was always some people who I could go to, right? They were always people who I felt safe with, I felt comfortable with, I felt like I could talk to. And for the first time in my life, I felt anxious around my family. I did not feel comfortable around my family, right? I did not feel like I could talk to them like myself, right? And this was the first time I felt that before, and that's when I knew something was wrong. Simultaneously, my brother had been having a transformation journey. He'll break it down more on this channel later, but he was probably even in a worse place than me a year back, right? And throughout that year, he had completely transformed himself. I hadn't seen him in a couple months, and he was the most life-filled, energetic, confident, dressed nice, smell good, look good, and he just had an aura to him. And I knew he figured something out. And so, later that day, I asked him. I said, brother, I told him my situation. I said, for the first time, I spoke out loud what I was feeling. I was holding it within me so much, like my hair was falling out. I wasn't telling anyone. I didn't know why, right? And then the first time I spoke out, I said, like, pretty much I'm not aligned. I said, I'm lost. I feel like I can't talk to people. I feel like I can't get women, right? I don't know what to do in life. Like, is this life? And then it was kind of like a movie scene. He sat me down, patted me on the back, and said something of the sorts like, get ready to get your mind blown. And he blew my mind for sure, right? And so in that conversation, he taught me everything he had learned through the internet, through Reddit, through his own trial and error, through talking to people on Instagram, through thousands and thousands of hours of research. He condensed and gave it to me at that point. And some of the things that included was semen retention, giving up lust, penis enlargement, learning seduction, learning female human nature, learning hypergamy, learning self-improvement, learning how to build structure in my day, learning different habits I can implement to start building myself up mentally, physically, sexually, and spiritually. The list goes on and on. Supplements, book recommendations. The Rational Man was the first one I read. I recommend you guys read that one, not so you can follow that principle, but so you can understand how women actually work. Anyways, that conversation was the point when I'd hit rock bottom, and then I started to go this way, right? And I never looked back after that point, because once I learned about these things, right, I had the vision of what I could achieve in the future. I had my way out. Previously, I did not have my way out. I was going to the gym and I was eating healthy, right? Why am I still not getting the chicks? Why am I still not feel good about myself? Why am I still not confident? That's all that the mainstream tells you. I was beating my dick, and I would look up on the internet after feeling ashamed. Is jerking off bad for you? No, it's healthy for you. It's bad to go without it, right? Okay, it feels good, right? So for the first time in my life, I had a roadmap and things I could do to start improving my life. And when I got back to school, I hit the ground running, right? I started building structure in my day. And previously I was waking up at 1 a.m., getting like 12 hours of sleep every day because I was so depressed, smoking weed every day, scrolling social media, watching porn, going out on the weekends. I pretty much cut it cold turkey, right? I cut it cold turkey. I started out waking up earlier, nothing crazy, like 10 a.m., right? Hit a cold shower, hit my Wim Hof breath work, learn meditation. That was tough for me. He guided me through that. Learn meditation, had my breakfast, went to the gym, stopped jerking off, stopped seeing women in a lustful way, right? Would get home, and then for the rest of the day, I shit you not, I would be on my computer researching how to get better. Huberman podcast on one screen, notes on the other screen. Sleep, what weed does to your brain, what alcohol does to your brain, ADHD and how it affects the body, right? How dopamine works. That's a huge one. I was learning all this shit, and I stopped doing my schoolwork too, right? And after about a month of this, my confidence rose from like a 2 to a 7. Not because I was actually like a 7 out of 10 man, but because I was making so much progress that the vision of being a 10 out of 10 man gave me the confidence, right? I still needed the validation from women because I hadn't gotten it yet. And so I kind of needed that within me. But at the same time, I had a purpose to focus on. So that was kind of front and foremost, with the validation from women behind. And so after about a month, I was on a bus ride with my boy, and we were talking about how we have to walk to campus and how I'm paying $40,000 a year to go here, and how the environment really isn't good for me, and how I'm not really learning anything from school, and how I'm passing all my classes and not even studying. And I realized I don't need to be here anymore, right? I did not need to be there for the first time. And I don't know why it took me so long to realize, but after that conversation, I ran the logistics and I was like, there's no reason for me to be here. And so in my mind, I made a plan. I'm going to go home, start training martial arts, start working for my mom, start getting an even more disciplined schedule, start improving in all of these areas, and just be fully locked in on self-improvement. And that's what I did, right? I get home, I start grinding. I'm still probably like a 7 out of 10 confidence here, but this is only like 2 months in when I move back, and I get after the grind. Start training martial arts, boom, confidence up to an 8. And then December goes by, January goes by, February, March, I'm just grinding, right? My confidence probably is now at a 9 out of 10. Now I have life in my eyes. I feel better talking to people. I want to go put myself out there. I want to start a business. And that is what I fucking did, guys. I looked at my mom's business. She did senior move management, and there was a guy who would come and pick up all this stuff from the dead seniors or the seniors who moved. And I realized I could go do that shit. He brought it to a warehouse, and then he would sell it or auction it off. I said, I could do that shit. So I invested all my money, put it into a warehouse for $2,000 a month, rented a truck, got some of my boys together, some of my sister's friends together, some of my mom's friends together, started this business, right, with my newfound confidence and love of doing hard things. And it was successful. It was successful. I made a good amount of money I ran that business for about a year, ended up being like 40K in profit after expenses, right? And so in that time, I also did martial arts competitions. I met the woman of my dreams, which I'll get into later. I don't want this to be too long, but I now lead a loving relationship confidently as a masculine man in that relationship with a woman who I had been looking at for years, guys. I remember telling my brother, I was like, there's no good woman out there, bro. There is this one chick, though. And I showed him my phone. It was that girl. And a year later, she's mine, right? And so this was all built in about a year and a half from being a 0 out of 10, maybe a 1 out of 10 confidence, losing hair from anxiety, feeling insecure in my face, my sexual ability, my ability to speak, my discipline, just feeling like shit about myself. I built all that within a year and a half. And then from that, I looked at my life and realized how far I had come. And I also realized I'd been helping my friends along the same journey, right? My brother, he was also coaching the same method he coached me. So I realized, although I'm making money in this business, I have reached my level of self-improvement in this business, right? Now it's just kind of repetition. And I felt a calling to put my skills and my journey elsewhere, right? I was given a gift of the journey I had, my ability to coach others, my desire to coach others. And so I put that away, did personal training for about 3 months at Crunch, was mostly old people, but I learned how to coach, had a couple younger guys who needed the method, taught them the method, they got insane results. And here I am today, brothers. And so now I feel more aligned than I've ever felt because I'm doing what I was meant to do. I genuinely believe this is a God-given purpose I was given, is to teach men this method. The average man today is in a similar spot I was, and knowing how easy and how simple it was for me to get out, I cannot sit still knowing that that is still a thing, right? And so I'm dedicating my life, my passion, my journey to this channel, to my Instagram, to my coaching, to really spread this method, brothers. So this is just a basic outline of how far I've come, and I genuinely am so proud of myself, right? I am so proud of myself. I still have a long way to go, but I had no idea what was possible in 2.5 years. I had zero. If someone would have told me that I'd be where I'm at right now a couple of years ago, I would have said bullshit, right? I would have said bullshit. And I say this because I want you guys to realize that this could be you too. And truly, the last 2.5 years, although I've embraced a lot of discomfort, have been the greatest 2 years of my life. I haven't been getting the instant gratification. I haven't been partying a lot, a little bit, right? I have my fun here and there. But what I really have loved is just the fulfillment of getting better every day. And as men, brothers, that is what you should be seeking, is growth. If you look at your life, you'll probably realize the times you were most fulfilled, the times you were happiest, are the times that you were growing. And I say this as humbly as possible, brothers, but I will do whatever it takes to help as many men as I am humanly capable of through my journey, through my skill set, through my community, through my platforms on here, right? This is what I am doing now, and welcome to the channel. And so I highly recommend, if you guys aren't already from Instagram, go follow me on Instagram. I post all the time on there, everything I learn day to day, everything I learned in the past, everything the guys I'm currently coaching are learning. And you have me as a brother now, right? If you're on this channel, you have me as my brother, right? I'm here with you. I truly love every single one of you guys, and I can assure you, if you're watching this and you have any doubt in your mind, you will make it, brother. If you even have the slightest desire to improve your life, right, and you use this channel, you use the resources that are available to you, you use my DMs on Instagram, brother. I'm here for you guys. Take it easy. Let's go.